Once again, welcome. I want to ask Karen to give us an invitation. We'll have a pledge flag.
Let's bow. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. And we come at this time asking you for your guidance as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll now have reading and approval of the previous minutes. Bethany, we had 2 minutes to.
Yes, sir. Both of them are there.
Right. So the previous one marked was just incorrect.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I'll make a motion that the March minutes be approved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries.
I want to hear
You did right. All right. We'll have now reading and approval of the minutes for April.
I make a motion that they be approved as written.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you. All right. There is no old business. And as I indicated, we have a lot of new business. So generally when we have a large crowd like this, I always make my little speech, which is to say everybody has the right to be here. We're going to try to hear everybody that we can. We want everybody to be respectful of the other people's opinions. Sometimes people get exercised, and we don't need that. We just need good discussion so that the board understands your position and we take that into consideration. We've had several people that have asked to speak, and when we get to a couple of these, we've got a lot of folks, and so I want to give you a chance to either say that you are happy with what somebody else has represented to you, or would attempt to have a short comment from each person who signed up to speak. But we want to move along efficiently. We try to have each side have 10 minutes, because otherwise it can take a long time. So that'll be our goal. I may deviate from that if I need to. With that said, item A, request is RZ-190443-Danna Sparks.
Yes, RZ, is Ms. Sparks here? Okay, there she is. RZ-190443. Applicant is Danna Sparks and Jeremy Sparks, 6546 Cedar Mill Cove, Ackworth, Georgia 30102. And Danna Sparks is here with us. The location is Jones Mountain Road and Inland Road and Pleasant Valley Road. And the reason we say that, you'll see from the photographs and the maps that it just changes from one name to the other. It's the same name. Rezoning from RR Rural Residential to AG Agriculture. Parcel ID is 002, 001, 009, and the rezone the 36.33 acre rural residential tract to AG Agriculture and place under an agricultural conservation agreement. The current land use is undeveloped RR. The character area is East Pickens Conservation Area, and the executive summary is the same, that the applicant requests to rezone the 36.33 acres on Inland Road, Pleasant Valley Road, and from rural residential to agriculture. Okay. And the recommendation from the staff is that the zoning request is approved, and this memo is hereby incorporated. The entirety of my office's file and the video recording of the Planning Commission's hearings here, including but not limited to all witness testimony, in order that this information may be a part of the record and shall be available to the Board of Commissioners for review. And as you can see, it's right on the Gilmer County line thereabouts, off of Jones Mountain Road. And the road goes back, and they want to join that with their other ag property. And that road at the north part of that, it changes from inland to, and it just go ahead and change its names to Pleasant Valley Road.
Okay. Thank you, Wes. Ms. Sparks, welcome.
Thank you.
We missed you
Yes.
on a previous event.
Yes, I'm not sure where my letter went, but it didn't show up in my mailbox. I'm sorry.
Well, we're glad to have you now.
Thank you.
What can you add to what Wes has outlined about what your plans are?
I just didn't want the zoning to limit any sort of application over the next 10 years. We're sort of hoping to have cattle once we get our stumping done and our grass put in, so.
Yeah. So what are you doing on the acreage that's AG now?
So the lot that I have next door is actually also rural residential
Oh.
in Gilmer County. It's not ag yet,
Oh.
but we would like to do that as well.
Okay. All right. Questions from the board, from Ms. Sparks?
I'll make a motion that RZ-190443 be approved for recommendation.
All right, we have a motion to accept the recommendation of the planning commission. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion approved. Thank you. All right, Ms. Sparks, you're good to go. You can stay with us if you'd like to hear all the rest of this interesting conversation.
I'm gonna go tuck my babies into bed. Thank you.
All right. Next item, we'll close that hearing and open a hearing on RZ-190466. Wes?
1904466. And so Robert Watson is the applicant, and the agent is Vito Partipelo, and it's 267 Pettit Road, Jasper, Georgia 30143. Location is Dean Trail. The rezoning is from agriculture to rural residential. The parcel ID is 017024002. And the proposed use is to divide that property into 4 lots, 3 2-acre lots and 1 10-acre lot. The current land use is undeveloped agriculture, and the character areas are rural development area. Now let's see, we can see there. They're on the north side of Dean Trail, and you see in the blue on the track on the left, and he has Bethany. Is there the one that he shows his tracks in there?
I don't know if you can see it very well. It's got lines on it.
Okay, go ahead up. Okay, I can see the
That's
red.
on this one?
Yeah, that one right there. Now look at the top right. You'll see the 3 red lines, and that's going to be the 3 tracks, and the rest of it's going to stay as one whole track. And you see the 3 red lines? All right, the recommendation is approval to RR Rural Residential Request, and in addition to this memo, I hereby incorporate the entirety of my office's files and video recording of the planning commission's hearing, including not limited to all witness testimony, in order that this information be a part of the record and shall be available from the Board of Commissioners to review.
Good. All right. Who's representing? Vito?
Yes, sir.
How are you, sir?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Right. Stand up and tell us what you got going here.
Okay, well, what we're going to try to do is, as you can see, there's a bend in the road in Dean Road, and this was the most private spot on his property, but we want to put 3 well-built country cabin-style homes or cottages, and we want to keep them kind of affordable, but we want to keep the quality there. So just something to improve and offer a little bit better housing in the area.
So you're going to build cottages?
Yeah.
Are you going to sell those?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how are you going to, what's the plan, Wes, on subdividing that property? Is there
Well, there's a minor subdivision that he is proposing. They're all on a county road that's that can have access, and it's really 3 lots that are 2 acres. And that's about as far as he's gone. He's filled out the application and started the process in that respect.
So initially, how many lots?
It would be 4 lots total, correct, Vito?
Yeah, and there'll be a 10-acre lot across from the one neighbor. The big lot will be left there. So we're just doing the 3 that are on the one side.
Okay. And how many square feet are these homes going to be?
There's going to be probably between 1,600 and 1,800.
So all access west is off of County Road?
Yes, sir.
What about water?
Water, we've gotten perk test and wells, we've had all that done. And then each will have their own individual driveway.
Off of the county road?
Yes, sir.
Questions from the board?
Oh, why are you leaving 10 acres and are there plans to subdivide that later?
Now, that 10 acres is used for the owner and their family. They use it for recreational. So that's where they hang out. They have like a little playground there, campfire area, keep farmland or farm equipment. They like to go there and just get away.
So you're acting as the builder developer, is that a fair?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Further questions? We have a lot of people that want to speak and have some words.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Vito. All right, so I think I've got eight people that have signed up to speak, and I'd like to move along through. If someone shares something that has already been said, we don't need to necessarily hear it all again, although we'd like to hear from everybody. You can just stand up and say ditto, or I agree, or whatever. So the first person I've got is Dina Vance. Dina?
I'm sorry. So you were talking about the road that these houses would have driveways.
Yeah, you addressed it.
I'm sorry.
That's
Yes,
fine.
sir. Come out to the road, but this is a very narrow road, so what would happen so that cars could actually pass? There's no way to even pass on this road. So that would be a concern, obviously, of how the traffic would be.
So it's a county road. What's the right of way there, Wes?
40 foot.
40 foot right of way.
That's the total right of way. I don't know what the surface of the street is.
Right.
I would say it's probably 16 feet.
So your concern is the traffic. What happens now when you meet somebody coming towards you?
Well, you might have to back up and find a spot to back into, or you've got to figure it out. Keep going until you can pull over to the side. There's no way to actually pass each other. You have to find an area to pull over. But at this moment, there's not a whole lot of traffic, so you don't run into a lot of people.
Understood. Good. So your concern is that these additional houses will create that additional traffic?
Yes, sir.
Do you live beyond this location?
There's another way you can come in, so yes. So we come up and we go around and enjoy it with our family, of course, and things like that. So
Gotcha.
it's not an everyday for us, but we'll definitely impede our fun family time together.
Sure. Good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions for Dana before we move on? All right, next is James Dean. James, you were the last one in the door.
Can I come up front a little bit? I'm hard of hearing.
Yes, you can.
I'll just get right here. Maybe I can hear. I'm not here for any particular question. I just want to shed some light on the property. That was my mother and father's estate. And I cut the property up into 4 different tracts. And I've tried to have at least water, farmland, and pasture on it. So if people wanted to buy some acreage, they could have some type of agriculture, they can have cattle, horses, whatever. Now, there's 3 streams on the property that all the tracks that I cut up has access to the streams, one of them anyway. And I would like to say this, it's on a 1-lane gravel road. And there's no access to ice except in 2 or 3 places. So that might present a problem. That was what I wanted to bring up. I tried to develop this so that people that wanted outside of the city could have country. A little bit of it anyway. Any questions for me?
I think we understand your point.
Thank you.
Thank you, good to see you, appreciate it. All right, let's see. John, Echo, you gonna speak for,
Mr. President?
are you representing everybody here or just?
No, sir. And I'll stand here next to my fellow brother at the bar. That's okay.
You'll make him proud, John.
You can add Charity is giving you photographs of the road in question. We went out there last Thursday, and you will see this is the road that I think most of the people are going to be talking about, bringing it to your attention.
Yeah.
It's a 1-lane gravel road. It is, quote, the county road maintained by the county. I put that in quotation marks. Okay? And what I would like to point out to you, my understanding is, Mr. Landon, correct me if I'm wrong, is that by putting 3 houses on this property, it will still remain a county-maintained road, and the county will be responsible for it. There are no ditches on this road.
I see that, yeah.
Okay, it has not been cut clear, cut back. And our concern is that if you take the entire tract and zone it to RR, you still have these 10 acres sitting out here. And after the required waiting period has expired, there's nothing to prevent the applicant from coming back in and saying, we want to put another 3 houses up here. It still remains a county-maintained road. And we think that you ought to consider the fact that they probably are going to develop this. The entire tract and put in as many houses as they can, trying to circumvent or do away with the cost of having to upgrade this road, clear it, and make it passable for 200 traffic. I think that's part of the consideration. Mr. Dean pointed out to you, sir, that there are creeks and there are streams on the property. This is part of the reason these people moved out here. Putting this property or this area, putting homes on there, is not in compliance with the comprehensive plan. And that part of the county, there are no subdivisions. We looked and looked about to see where the closest subdivisions are. And I would also point out to you, we did some digging, and Mr. Watson and his agent, I'm not going to try to butcher his last name, bought 180-something acres on Upper Salem Road. Comparatively recently. We pulled the mortgage on the property. The mortgage has a restriction on it that it cannot be developed. They've got a $400,000 plus mortgage on the property that has to be serviced. My thinking is, if I were in court, I'd probably certainly go deeper into this, is that they want to make the profits from this property, to sell the homes, whether it's 3, 6, or 10, use that to service the debt on the 180 plus acres on Upper Salem Road, and then go back in and get rid of that, or pay off the mortgage, get rid of the restrictions, and they're going to come in and subdivide that 180 acres. It's going to change the character of the area. And that is my client's concern. Charity gave you the photographs of the property. I think they speak volumes, they speak for themselves. When we traversed the property on Thursday morning, it was scary. And coming back out, we ran into somebody. And it's about a quarter mile from to the property from when you turn off the road. And that's a lot of traffic. I don't even know if construction traffic can get through there. So there are issues with that. And that's part of the problem that we have. It's going to need additional traffic work. So the point is, I'm looking to save as much time as possible for those people who want to speak against this thing. It's not in keeping with the nature of the area. It's not in keeping with the comprehensive plan for the county. We believe that the applicant, with all due respect, has not been truly forthcoming with their full intended plans as to what they want to do with this property. And they have other reasons not disclosed to you as to why they want to do this to the property. The photographs speak for themselves. My client, Mr. Primack, he purchased one of these lots. He has 19 plus acres directly across from the property. And he purchased that lot and refurbished the property. Got the same footprint. If you went out there, you see the house that he's built in the same footprint. This is to be his retirement home. And he came here to Pickens County, Western Pickens County, to have that kind of rural, idyllic setting for his retirement home. And I believe other people on that property feel the same way. If you have any questions for me, I'm glad to answer to you. We do have documents to substantiate what I've told you about the purchase on the Parcel Road, the deed, and the mortgage. If you want to look at those documents, we can put them in the record, or you may not want to. We would ask that those photographs come to the record as well.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any questions?
Yes.
Thank you.
Vito, we'll give you an opportunity to respond, but
Okay.
everybody, okay? Emery Watson.
Yes, sir.
How are you, Emery?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Fine. Thanks for coming. How can we help?
Well, I'm opposed to this because my property joins Dean's Road, and the traffic is the big thing for us that we're against.
How many acres do you have, sir?
7 acres.
Okay. And how long have you been there?
Since November.
So you're a relatively newcomer there, aren't you?
No, I'm not a newcomer. I've been here all my life.
You're a newcomer here.
On this property, yes.
All right. Very good. Thank you, sir. Sue. Sue, I can't read your last name.
Susan Bowling.
How are you?
I'm all right.
Thank you for coming.
First off, I have been here all my life. Our little town and our little county, we are the first mountain city. We are gradually and surely losing that. I didn't see any of y'all at the meeting in the Hinton community that the commissioners had. If I did, I'm sorry I didn't speak with you. But there was a lot of concern, like Mr. Watson said, about the traffic, especially on Carver Mill, where this road butts into Carver Mill. We have no county water on this Dean's Road. Our fire department cannot handle so many homes going up in this area. And first off, let me say, if this man is out of state, I have no problem with him. Mr. Primack here is out of state. We welcome him in here. What we don't want is somebody out of state buying up a bunch of property and splitting it up, putting a bunch of homes on it. Okay, you want to come and buy 20 acres, build your home. Mr. Primack bought his retirement home. I have a problem, and our community has a problem with all the traffic. How many of y'all been up 53 recently? From Gordon County to Jasper. I've got more rattles in my car than I've ever had. And that road is falling all to pieces. We can't handle a whole lot more road. So I'm against it, not because personally from anybody. It's just that I want to keep our county rural. If you want to come in, buy a good tract of land, put your home on it, welcome to you. But don't come in and buy all of our land up. It's been here, you know, in families for years. Start dividing it up and putting houses because we can't handle it. Our county cannot, water-wise or traffic-wise. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Your good tax assessor, Mr. Dobbs, has already talked to us about 53, so we're well aware of it. Does everybody know Mr. Dobbs?
Well,
He's actually a very nice guy.
Tell him.
Mike? Right? Yeah.
That's how you do it. I bought the 19 acres from Mr. Dean, his family.
Okay.
Wanted to retire. I renovated the house to keep it the way it was. I took their property, their barns, did a facelift on the house, problem is my house is on the road. I don't think my house is 20 feet off of this road. I get a lot of traffic through there now. The dust, the noise, and traffic. Like they said, there's no place to turn around. People start using my driveway to turn around at the moment. So I own a piece on both sides of that road. My property, most of my acreage is on one side, and I have about 2 acres on the other side. So the road goes through my property, 20 feet from my house. That's a problem. It's a problem now that I can live with because I bought it knowing it was very rural and not being used. But with this new changes going on, that's going to be a problem. My saying is, move the road. Can I say, ask to have the road moved? Get it off my property or get it to the other side of my property. Maybe they'd be willing to do that. Maybe they can have the road carved in through part of that 10 acres alongside where my properties end, along the fence line, and redirect the road. This way it's not going through my living room. But I plan on just moving down here, staying here. I want to get cattle. I want to get goats. This is the place to be. I bought this town because it's beautiful here.
So you say that the road is actually on your property?
It's on my property. It runs through my property. I literally have the road. I have property on both sides of that road.
Is there an easement for that?
I would assume there's an easement. No, there's no easement. There's no easement. They're telling me there's no easement on that. And a good portion of the road too goes through. It's not just a little part. It's 500 yards. It's a pretty far run. And they speed through there. They speed through there now. It's a nuisance.
Are those your neighbors speeding through there?
I'm not going to point fingers here. I could, but I won't. But yes,
Okay.
they do.
All right.
And they don't live there. And they don't live there, and they speed there. And there are some people around that do live around there, and they're very nice. They come by and they say hello and they stop. Other people fly by, they'll do their business, and that's it.
Well, the sheriff's not here, so
No. I actually talked to one of them about that, and they're not there to monitor traffic on Dean's Trail. It's a gravel little, it's a trail. It's not even a road. It looks like a driveway.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right. You said Tralee? Did I mess that up? Too bad.
It's all right. Everybody does.
What?
Tralee Kenny.
Okay, thank you.
And I actually am owner of 458 Dean Trail, which is track 2, right next to the Watsons. I didn't bring the board to present. Wendy did, so I'm going to let her do it, but I am against it for the road. It is, in fact, what they call a pig trail. It is very small. There are trenches on each side, and deep trenches. And people do have to use other people's driveways to move out of the way in order for traffic to pass. And I purchased for agriculture because I want my child to grow up with country living. That's what I've always wanted. So no TV, no video games. It is outdoor living and raising animals, hopefully, at some point. So
Gosh, it doesn't get much better than that.
I agree, but that's what I want to keep it. So that's what I'm trying to develop for my own child and his life, his future.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
And last one I have is Wendy.
Yeah, that's
Hi,
that's
Wendy.
me. Hello. I had more pictures, but it seems like you got pictures, but we have more pictures. I did want to clarify something on the road because I heard someone say there's a 40-foot right-of-way, and when I had a few weeks ago gone up to Planning and Development and asked about the right-of-way, they said there was no set right-of-way on this road, and it's actually something they call ditch-to-ditch or drain-to-drain on this road. And the woman informed me that there's 12 foot of gravel. We went out and measured. Majority of the road doesn't go any bigger than 11, and there's some parts that are only 10. And when you look at the drainage of the road, it's really deep. The deep drainage that they finally did dig in there, so you can't really pull over. It's absolutely terrifying if there's someone else coming and you're on the road. So the road is a big thing. I did hear them say they like to go up there and hang out on their other 10 acres. We bought that land so that we can live in peace, not with pollution and noise and all that stuff. So, but the road is a major concern.
You're not one of the speeders that have been...
No, as a matter of fact, I have the opposite problem. I'm being waved and flicked and moved and everywhere I drive. So I'm more of a Sunday cruiser. But that's the big concern, the road. And from my understanding, it's ditch to ditch, drain to drain, 12 foot of gravel. No set right away.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
One more.
I also am concerned about that extra 10 acres that they're also going to RR, or trying to change it to RR. That whole area is all agricultural. Behind them is a huge chicken farm. All the other properties around there are all agricultural, and if you see the way the property line is, my property to across the road to their property, it's a straight line. They'd be cutting into that. And I'm also concerned, again, 2 acre lots right now, sounds kind of convenient, and then the 10, again, what my attorney said, down the road, and we've all talked about this, down the road, how hard is it going to be for them to just say, well, let's do some more? What if I decide to do it then? Are they going to allow me to do it? I don't want to. I want to keep it the way it is.
I understand.
But, you know, you do stuff, you do 3-shot, wait a little bit, 3-shot, next thing you know. And I count some of these brand new houses on Carlan Road, nice new homes they built. They get 3 to 4 cars in the driveway. Get 3 to 4 cars, even 2 to 3 cars. That could be 9 to 12 extra cars back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Understood.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wes?
Yes, sir.
John Capo suggested that we were out of sync with the comprehensive plan.
Comprehensive plan calls for a mix of rural, residential, and agriculture, large lots, and also, as you can see, I hit all 8 points in this.
Yeah.
And yes, it's identified as rural development area, but so is 95% of the property over there, and there are many subdivisions within those. But 2 acre lots are not the high density that they, of course, do not want. Also, it's this particular survey that's here that Mr. Partipelo has, and Mr. The developer of the tracks, and I want to say this gentleman right here. It shows a 40-foot right of way. That's what I'm basing it on. It was when he cut the 4 tracks up.
So, what about the issue that's been raised about the road being on somebody else's property and not being an easement there?
I don't know what he's saying. Here's his property in this map that's here, this survey, and it's showing a 40-foot right of way. Now his barn and his house are right up on the road, and they're shown on the road.
All right.
So it's an outbuilding.
Okay. So, Vito?
Yes, sir.
You've heard a number of the things and concerns with your potential neighbors here. What's your response to what you've heard about their objections and concerns?
I mean, those are legit concerns. I actually live on Pettit Road, which is much narrower than Dean Trail. And ours, you can't come, because my road's a lot more narrow than yours. He charges down Pettit because our land is off Pettit Road. And it's agriculture. We're not trying to develop this to pay off our other land. That's an assumption. It's not accurate. We are developing this because Robert is getting into the business. He wants to learn building, and I'm going to bring him up in the business and teach him what I know. But the road, I've looked at it, so his house, and I can't remember your last name, but I agree his house is very close to the road. But if we move the road, and I'm going off correctly, I'm not sure, is there a creek over there? If you go back behind where your property your second property across the road meets Roberts, there's not a creek to the left?
No.
I thought I saw someone down there one time in the creek. But then
I'm not sure which way he's talking.
There's a pond there.
yeah, so that would be the only obstruction, you would hit water. But I think we would entertain if that's an issue to adjust the road there, if it's a concern.
I don't know.
But there's enough room there, and we're also going to give the extra, so from Center Road, we're gonna give the 30-foot easement for the future. For the county, we'll have, if they want the full 60 feet, we have no problem giving that on our side.
With 60 feet. With 60 feet.
That's what the county do now is their requirement.
All right.
So, I mean, but the houses, these are gonna be for, you wanna get some chickens, you wanna have it. There's a subdivision that's going in with several hundred houses within a mile and a half from here. It's on the same road, and that's why I'm not understanding the concern for traffic, because this is a giant subdivision about to go in.
And the road's exactly the same as it is
here.
No.
Sorry.
Don't even compare to that road.
Okay.
The chicken goes through that road.
Remain calm. All right, any questions from the board for Vito?
I got a question. These houses that he's talking about going in, county put a stop to that if I'm not badly mistaken. It's a subdivision, and I'm pretty sure the county put a stop to the subdivision going in, and these people are trying to sell them off in lots now, and as far as I know, there's not one over there. Not one house yet, but I could be wrong. But there's no water, and the county wouldn't furnish water because we do not have water to furnish the people that has been here for years and years on my road. I don't have county water running out my road. We've had to come 400 or 500 foot off the highway. When you talk about having you gotta have some pressure going up that hill where I live. And we put in a big enough line that we had to put our pressure reducer under our porch in order to have enough pressure to push it all the way up that line. And our water situation in the west end of, well, the whole Pickens County, but the west end is desperate in need of water. And all these wells that you're putting in, this man put in 3 houses, he may have a well here, he may drill 500 foot here, clap the crap into this one's line, into this one's water line. I mean, the feed. But that's what I got to say.
I understand. We're well familiar with well challenges. Questions from the board? Do I have a motion?
Les, what is this ditch to ditch, drain to drain practice on roads? They said they got it from your office.
I don't know. I'm curious because when we don't have a defined right-of-way, then that's what we use, is the ditch to ditch. And what I was going off of was Mr. Dean's survey that he did when he sold this property. He sold it as a 40-foot right-of-way. There's no way to contend that. All these people who live on here, who bought these tracts, are subject to this 40-foot right-of-way, because that's what they bought. That's where I got the 40-foot from. Now, there are plenty of roads that are ditch to ditch, and they're bank to bank, and so on. But as Mr. Partipelo said, we require 60 foot now if you were to build a road.
Also, do I understand that most of these lots have been sold for people who just come for recreation and don't live there, or?
No, his family uses the 10 acres. So the land, there's a fence roughly where the 3 lots that we're proposing, they don't use that land. It's to the left, the bigger 10 acres is what they continue on to use.
So these are not going to be, these 3 are not going to be vacation homes?
No. I mean, they could be, I'm not sure. It depends on what the buyer intends to use them for. But like I live on Pettit and we go through the obstacle backing up and we have to let people pass. But that, I mean, let's face it, we live in a county that we're not Atlanta, we're not Cobb County. We all have to live with each other and there's things we sacrifice. But we do need, eventually we need the tax revenue in this county. Because we can all sit here in the end, if the county doesn't bring in the revenue, where are they going to get it to solve and address any of the problems in the future? We can't we gotta control our growth. And I wanna do it by not bringing in, I wanna bring in a quality, affordable home. I don't wanna bring in, go put a trailer there or anything that people are gonna complain about in 5 or 10 years and say, oh, you did it for money. No. We're trying to keep it, they're gonna have a good curb appeal. We want these people to be able to have, if they want a small little agriculture, chickens, whatever, we want them to be able to have that. But we can't, I mean, we can't do it on 10 acres because the 10-acre parcel is the family getaway.
Why change it? Why not need?
All right, well, no further questions? Do you have a motion?
The road situation bothers me. It just doesn't seem like it's suitable for a subdivision. I will make a motion that we recommend denial.
All right, we have a motion to deny the recommendation of the planning commission. Is there a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? All in favor, please raise their right hand. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, moving right along, we'll close that public hearing. Brian, I thought somebody was going to talk about it. I'm okay with it.
You're sure?
We're going to open up, thank y'all for coming. We're going to open up RZ-190470 for 1893 LLC. Wes.
That is RZ-190473 LLC. This is 215 Crossbow Lane, Parcel, Georgia 30175. The agent is Brian Armour, who is with us, and the location is Swan Bridge Road, and the rezoning is from AG Agriculture to ER State Residential. Parcel ID is 012-022. Estate Residential. Proposed use is a state residential to be able to divide the property into 7 lots from 3 to 10 acres and be able to sell single-family home sites. The current land use is undeveloped AG agriculture, and the character area is rural development area. The lot size is 56.05 acres. Road access is Swan Bridge Road. Again, the recommendation to staff is approval of the estate residential request. In addition to this memo, I hereby incorporate the entirety of my office's files and the video recording of the Planning Commission's hearing, including and not limited to all witness testimony, in order that this information be made a part of the record and shall be available for the board and commissioners to review. And you can see his sketch of his lots that he wants to propose. 3.5, 3.29, 3.14, and 3.3 on the smaller lots, and then on up. Okay, and the complexion of the area, if you'll go back one, if you can see, there are some SRP and some rural residential that are in that vicinity also. And SRP has got its own little activity.
That cover it?
Any other questions? Yes.
Brian, good to see you again. You keep coming back?
You're so nice to me.
What you got going here, guy?
Well, we want to split this property into what we think is a good fit for the area. Nice sized tracts, give people some room for their houses, a little bit of room for a garden, whatever they want. And that seems like that's a good fit for that area with rural residential already around it and ag around it, so that's really about it.
There's nobody shown up here that said they want to speak out against you.
That's good. I like being liked.
Do you have water and roads?
Yes, we do have water, yep, and we got a good road. So nothing to object to, right?
That's leading. Any questions from the board?
How many houses are you planning on putting there?
Well, we're just gonna sell the land, but I would imagine one house per tract, so 7 houses.
7 houses on 56 acres.
Yeah, I think that's a good density.
Well, that's one large, 15-acre lot.
Yeah, there's actually 2 large tracts in the back. The challenge there is the depth of the track versus the width of the track on the road frontage, so we had to leave the larger tracks in the back.
Since the good tax assessor is sitting next to you, what do you hope to market these lots at? per acre
Well,
on average?
the smaller tracts are probably gonna be 18,000 an acre-ish, what do you think?
You did pretty good.
And then larger tracts might be down around 10 or so, something like that.
I would have thought a larger tract would get a little per acre.
Well, you run out of money.
The larger tracts for a reason.
Yeah. If there are no further questions, do I have a motion?
I will make a motion that RZ-190470, that we recommend approval.
All right, we have a recommendation, a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. And motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you. All right, we'll close that hearing and open a new hearing on RZ-190471. Wes?
Yes, that is RZ-190471. It's Machielle Hamilton, 1259 Tilley Road, Talking Rock, Georgia, 30175. The location is Ellijay Road and Drunken Springs Road. It's rezoning from AG Agriculture to RR Rural Residential. The parcel IDs are 012016 and 01001. And the rezoning is divided to 3 5-acre plus lots and 1.77 acre lot, and you'll see why. As you can see that hump that goes over behind you, the property to the south of that hump is the 1.77 acres. And the character area is a rural development area, and as you can see, it's not far from Mr. Armour's property, and it is in that same, directly across from the SRP property, and SPR, I can't see from this far, and the and rural residential below it on the southwest side of it. The lot size is 17.72 acres. The road access is Ellijay Road and Drunken Springs Road, and the recommendation is the approval of the rural residential request. And again, this addition to this memo, I hereby incorporate the entirety of my office's file and video recording of the Planning Commission's hearing, including and not limited to all witness testimony, in order that this information be a part of the record and shall be available for the Board of Commissioners to review. Any questions on that location or anything to do with this particular project?
So when I first read this, Wes, the Drunken Springs Road kind of jumped out at me. Do you know the history behind that?
I think that sign's been stolen a lot of times. But in any case, it is, was a county road, and it's been somewhat abandoned. We haven't officially seen an abandonment, but they no longer maintain that road. So, good part of the access. Now, so it is a public-private road. Does that make sense? I don't think anybody can close it off and deny someone access.
And so it's maintained now by the property owners?
Correct.
Michelle?
Yeah.
There you are on the front row.
I am.
Very patiently sitting next to the good tax assessor.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, this is a tract that I purchased. It's got frontage on Ellijay Road, Old Highway 5. And it's also got Drunkard Springs Road running through it. And the Drunkard Springs Road, as he has said, county does not maintain. They have not officially abandoned it that we can find on, I can find on any record. I'm actually trying to do larger tracts, but because I own 1.77 acres on the south side of that road, I have asked for rural residential because that is the category it would fit into. Next door, right south of there, is the tract that is SRPC. I'm not even, or I think that's the terminology. I'm not even sure what that stands for, but I do know that's a very high density zone, higher than RR. I own a piece that actually borders this property on the west that is a state residential, but again, I did not go with the state residential because of a 1.77 acre tract that is split off. In saying that, I don't plan to divide this into the actual 1 acre tracts, but that is what my zoning request is for. Got any questions?
Questions?
Is that 1.77 lot buildable?
Do what now?
The 1.77 lot, is it buildable?
Yes, it is. It also borders, excuse me, it plus a .03 actually, would give it access to Old Highway 5, but I would access it off the Drunkard Springs. It's just the most logical way to do the access.
Your property, does Drunkard Springs go through your property or just
It
along
does.
it? Okay.
It goes through.
So you plan on improving it then when you sell the lots?
Yes. Yes, I do. Guys, it's not going to be a highway by no means. I promise you, because I'm also trying to keep just a rural feel to the area. But there is a lot of demand for 5 to 5 acre tract property. I do have 1.77 on one side of the road.
Further questions? Do you have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve RZ-190471.
All right, we have a motion to accept the recommendation of the Planning Commission and approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries. Okay. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
I'm sorry you didn't have anybody here to speak out against you.
That's okay.
All right, we'll close that hearing and we'll open a hearing on RZ-190472. Wes?
Okay. Do we have the applicant or the attorney here? I do not see him.
Oh, yeah.
This shall be tabled?
It's automatically tabled. We'll not have anything on it tonight because they're not here.
Can I ask my question then?
Yes, sir.
So why is it tabled?
Because the applicant is not here.
But he was supposed to be here.
That's right.
So if it's important enough for him to be here, it's important enough for me to be here, I wasted my time to come when he should have been here. So then why is it just tabled? What are you gonna do, put it till next month? Push it out? Or does it go off next calendar, 6 months, to what, he needs to be some penalty for not showing up?
It won't be next month, it'll be down the calendar, but they have to pay an additional fee and to reinstate it again, since it never was heard. If it was heard and denied, and then they would have to wait 6 months, yes, sir.
So it won't be in June, so it won't come back up in June. It'll come back up in July is what I'm understanding. Is that correct?
I have to look at the calendar. You can ask the girls, you can call them tomorrow, and they'll tell you what the dates are.
So how do we know? Will we get another letter?
Yes, sir.
You'll send another letter?
You will get another letter.
So can I ask another question? That way I know from there.
Ask the
So
board.
what is estate residential? Explain that to me.
It is a designation that allows for 3 acres.
So he's taking a 10, so is he going to come with a plan for 7 and 3, 5 and 5, 6 and 4? Do we know?
I believe that is there. Now, again, since we're not hearing this, I'm not gonna go any further, but he is going estate residential, minimum of 3 acres.
Okay. I won't change mine to opposed.
Yeah, I have a question. The sign in front of the property says for resale. What does that mean? The yellow sign that the...
Actually, the letter said for resale, the sign doesn't say that.
The letter.
Should say rezone.
Yeah, the letter
It's
says something about
rezoned.
resale.
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna-
Like building properties for resale.
Should say rezone, shouldn't it, Wes?
Yes, it should.
Good question.
That's what we were just wondering, are they gonna build resale? I can't remember what it said.
I got my letter in the
Rezoning.
truck.
I didn't get a letter.
It does say rezoning.
The sign does,
but the
yes,
letter-
but the
the letter-
letter, the letter said resale, and that's what was confusing to some of us.
I can go get my letter, I got it in the truck.
Okay, it's all right. He's got to come forward, he's got to pay another fee, he's got to ask to be and get back on the calendar, so.
But then you'll send us property owner
They
Jason.
will, they'll let you know, and
Will that sign be
That's
changed?
what they asked for too.
Will that sign with the dates?
This sign, yes.
Yes.
it'll be
Will we
updated.
change, okay.
Right.
It will have to be,
And the public notice does say the request is to divide the property for the construction of 2 homes for resale, because that's what they applied for.
2 homes for resale?
That's what they,
So
that's
it
what
would
they
be
applied for.
splitting to resell. That's how you interpret it?
Yes.
So it's not as, so as we was told that it's his daughter, which we can
Right.
get into that later on, but it's for him and his daughter and all that.
We chose, we oppose also, I guess, do we have to fill out the form for that? Or we address it next time?
And that's next time.
Okay.
We look forward to having you back.
Yeah. I was already did it, I wanted to do that.
All right.
Right.
We're tabling that for next month, or whenever. And we'll open a hearing now on RZ-190477.
okay, 190477. We'll give it a second for these people to exit.
Please leave quietly.
This is, the applicant is Robert Burton. The location is 11110 Highway 53 West, Talking Rock, Georgia, 30734. The rezoning is from rural residential to highway business. The parcel ID is 037016. The proposed use is to rezone for storage units and develop single family is the current land use, and the character area is rural development area. The sign was posted, the road access is Highway 53. As you can see, the complexion of the area, and I have additional maps that were supposed to be included but got left out that I put on the table for you to show the complexion of the area. And just so you can see as a larger scope. And I kind of find my little quip that I have to say at the end. Okay. The staff recommends approval of highway business for the zoning request. In addition to this memo, I hereby incorporate the entirety of the office's files and the video recording of the Planning Commission's hearing, including but not limited to all witness testimony, in order that this information be made a part of the record and shall be available for the Board of Commissioners to review. Okay, any questions there on those split ones and the little surveys or tax maps that I put in front of you?
Mr. Burton?
Yes, sir.
You've sat patiently here with us.
Yeah, it's the first time being here before y'all. It's a pleasure.
Are you from Pickens County?
I am. I grew up here. I lived in Jerusalem growing up, and now we live in Leadville, which is very close to where this proposed rezoning is. My daughter and I live there. And if I may say, I appreciate y'all having prayer and allegiance to the flag. It's a very special thing these days. So.
We need it sometimes.
We need it every day. But this was property that my family had, and when my dad passed about 7 years ago, he and my mother gave us this property. And while walking it just a couple of months ago, so it's got some trees, there are a lot of pines there, and getting ready to do some clearing. And some folks said, you know, this would be a great place for a storage facility. So I started praying about it and had a real peace that, yeah, it would, you know. So, then I started looking and asking questions here from the county too, as far as growth. And what I'm hearing tonight is this hadn't stopped. So, what I learned, we've got from 515 back towards Leadville, current and upcoming, we've got 71 subdivisions and 2,682 lots. So there is a need there in our county. The last 12 years has had 15% increase in growth. So as we know, life needs sometimes, storage units provide that, to help that need. I know when I was going through a divorce, you're looking for a storage, you can't find them. I couldn't find a board or Pickens. I mean, there's other reasons, you know, such as HOAs with some of these developments, you can't have certain things in the yard, or seasonal type things, people like to park the RV or the boats. And our end of the county has really been growing. In this proposed area here, I started looking to, you know, what other rural storage units are there? I'll try to find something like this area where I'm requesting. And Talking Rock has the affordable storage, Bethany affordable storage. They're very much like this, and also West Side storage near Blaine. So they're all very similar to this area as far as rural. And one thing I'd like to think the planning about is how they protect the concerns of the neighborhood. Because we have a 40-foot buffer where this property is. So the larger trees that we have there, they'll remain, which helps keep a distance from any concerns that they might have. And I'd like to show you this picture. I don't know if y'all get the whole packet I sent gave them. Because I started thinking, if I was a neighbor, what concerns would I have? Well, one, this stretch where the driveway is going to be coming, I just met with DOT and the surveyor. They're approving it today for line of sight. So we've achieved that. I've got a new site map, or new site plan that identifies where the road will be. And that stretch of road is 45 miles an hour, where this is proposed at. And the other was lights. Has the DOT approved? Yes, they're approving it today. They said they'll finalizing it today.
And does it have a decel? Does it have a decel lane?
No, they're gonna use the current road at a 45 miles. It changes on both ends to 45 of where the driveway is.
So that's the limit on a decel lane, 45 miles an hour?
I don't know that. That's just what Donovan Tucker told me with the Department of Georgia DOT. We had to have to line of sight both ways in order to get it approved. So, the lighting, I went to a lot of different ones looking, because my concern as a neighbor would be light pollution and stuff like that. So I talked with contractors and also talked with people who actually construct these facilities and lighting. But you can see if you put it in the right place, these type of lights, you know, they actually go into the gutters. And they also keep the light down so you don't have it up in the air. So that's one of the things I wanted to be sure. I looked at some, like one over in Marble Hill, and it looks like the whole lights, so skies lit up. So I want to make sure that we would be able to, you know, make it something our neighbors would be happy with. This is that, yeah.
So we've had a number of these storage things coming before us. And the primary issues have been access, lighting, activity at all hours of the night, making noise. So what have you thought through? You've addressed what you intend to do about lighting.
Well,
what are the access requirements and limitations? And
well, I'm open to your suggestions. Mine right now is looking at the others in the county, and the vast majority use that electronic. Everything's electronic with the gates, so they're available for those who have items in there. That's really the route I'd like to stay, like what my competition is, you know, unless there's a reason we need to change that.
How far off the road is the gate?
It's going to be beyond the state's right away. I think it's like 60 feet, something like that. The total where we're planning on putting it.
So 60 feet, you would turn off 60 feet of a paved entrance before you got to the point where you had to enter your code or whatever to get in there?
We'll get plenty of room to get off the road. And where we have the vehicles parked, the lights will actually be facing away from the road. Plus they're dimmable, and they don't actually get brighter until there's activity going.
How many units you gonna have?
Well, plan on doing it in 2 stages. I don't know if you got the information. Do they have the information?
It should be on the board, but there it is there.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
It'll be these 3 facilities, 3 buildings here, and then in 2 years, depending on economics, whether everything's going. I'd like to put these in, and these are bigger units. And when we get to this point, I'd like to do some things for communities, such as have units available in case somebody needs one, kind of thing. Have some things for, like Goodwill, at no charge for those. I'd like to have some available for that to give back to the community, things like that, so.
Have RVs count there?
Just right here.
It's on the back of the property?
No, it's in the front. Yeah, it'd be like 8 spots, not a lot.
What kind of business is in the highway business adjoining that?
Well, down the right across the road, right here,
Me and Roy.
that is actually, this is Watts's grocery. Yes. But this actually is supposed to be HD in this one too. This is in the store, and it's since the 50s. From what I understand from Chris Watson, he's his daddy's. And he talked to Susan, and they're supposed to change that to HD.
What's this business here?
That's a nursery store.
Nursery?
Nursing home.
Nurse home.
Then there's some HDs over here, and a bigger one
Okay,
actually
I know,
shows
okay. So this is between the nursing home. Okay.
And these should be HDs. I've been told this is in the process of being changed. Because they're not. Chris, I'm gonna try to be here tonight.
What's on the property today? Just woods?
Yes, sir. Yeah, used to be an old home place years, many years ago.
And it's gone.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So the county has a business there, correct, on that road?
I don't think so.
Yeah, there's a-
The voting precinct.
Oh, yes, it
Voting
is.
precinct, right.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
yeah, at one time it was the, there was a,
Daycare center.
yeah, it was vacant, it was
Yeah.
after, yeah, okay.
Is that at the fire station?
No,
No,
this was a Masonic lodge type thing that
Yeah.
got deeded to the county.
Okay,
Had a sheriff's precinct in there, and it's where we now have our voting precinct.
gotcha.
For bank
I
mortgage.
kept children after school there for a while before they.
Oh,
Okay,
damn.
I know where we're at now.
All right, thank you. Kimberly, there you are on the back row. Come on up here, gal.
Well, I bought my house about 6 years ago, and
Where do you live?
I back up to this property
Okay.
with the exception of just an easement. So my front door it's currently all wooded. My front
Which
door
way?
from this property, my house faces the property, and the front door is about 150 feet.
So you're on which road then?
I'm on Big Ridge.
Bay Creek, okay.
And this is an all residential area. The retirement home is about, there's probably 4 homes between that and 53, including yours probably. But, you know, I didn't move to the country to back up to a storage facility with lights and noise and the traffic. Not only that, but I don't see how large vehicles, that's a very sharp turn going through that 45 mile an hour, which is why they made it 45 miles an hour. There's already been accidents there, so I can't imagine traffic trying to turn into that already. But, I mean, this is not only, you know, going to be a noise, it's going to be safety for me. I currently have 7 acres that backs up to this. It's a little bit higher than my property, so I will look right out my front door onto it. It's, you know, a big problem when that whole area is residential, thinking about turning my front yard into a storage facility. And unfortunately, you know, my driveway is very long. So I go, the front of my house is very close to this property. And there's a lake on the other side.
Is the lake on your property or somebody else's?
It's on my property. So, you know, this would be a huge depreciation.
How long have you been there?
6 years, 7 years. You know, and it's just, I think it, you know, that would be a huge concern for me going out at night and backing up to that.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I think you've articulated it pretty well. Thank you. Mr. Dobbs, you didn't sign up to speak. You
I
told
thought
me.
I did. You told me to sign up.
I did.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can speak.
Oh,
I don't have a piece of paper for you, but
I thought I took care of it.
It's somewhere.
I'm gonna use this map right here. Robert Burton's a good guy. Joey Burton's a better guy. Here's my concern.
are they brothers?
Cousin. Okay. This is my property. This is the straightest part of 53 in that area that has the most sight distance.
It's extremely dangerous to get in and out of the road even here. Since we've owned this property, there was a driveway here where Mr. McPherson used to live. We closed it off. The original driveway for this property was right here. We closed it off. We moved as far to the east as we could.
Your driveway.
Yes, to get in and out of the property. I'm telling you, they'll tell you, this is an extremely dangerous place. I got pictures of a fatality on my phone right across from my driveway. Very, very graphic. My concern is not the zoning. Take your property, do with it and everything. I'm okay with that. A little worried about the lights, so I hadn't thought about that. But here's my concern, and it's a developmental concern, and it is gonna be DOT. Having a driveway off of Highway 53 right there, you will be reading about it in the newspapers, I promise you. I can tell you story after story. The use of the property, I'm not against. The access to the property, I wouldn't want that on your conscience. I certainly don't want it on mine. I just wanted to speak out. So if something happens, I can't say, you never said anything.
Where is Michelle's property on that?
She is right back here. If we had the rest of the map,
Okay.
you can see it. Yeah. Okay. I have a Jackie's Flower Shop, and then right behind that Jackie's right there is the driveway to her property right there.
So on this map I'm looking at, where is it?
She's right there.
Okay. Very good, thank you.
Hours of operation. What hours do you anticipate operating, allowing people to come and go?
Well, it'd be like the R&R and the others, where they usually be able to do computer and swipe the code.
Like, we're gonna go with a, in and out, I believe.
24 hours a day.
That's mine, I handed.
And I did consider doing it till like 9 or so,
9 o'clock.
yeah. And then they'd have to contact me and, if this is an emergency, they need to be in for some reason.
And you're leaving the pine trees. Is the entire thing pines now? No.
Just pretty much the pines and the smaller trees, mostly pines. And there's like a 40-foot buffer, which is a good thing. I mean, the county requires that, which it gives a good
But
buffer.
that's not just on the road, but also on the back of the property?
It's all the way around except for the road, except for the front.
So you'll be leaving a buffer between yours and...
Yes, ma'am.
That way it's okay, great.
So it leaves a good buffer. Have a fence and, things that commonly are placed for security. Cameras. If I could, if you don't mind me adding something, this is the side of business the last adjustable. We haven't moved the road. Existing road was here, they were way up here. That's what Donovan, the DOT said, yes, we'll approve that. It's moved further up, so it's almost like way over here. But this happened like last week, so the road has been moved forward.
But these lights appear to go down toward the ground. Are you going to have any highlights?
No, ma'am, they'll be like that.
They're all going to be going down, so there would not be...
And you'll notice also, we actually installed them underneath the gutters. So I actually give you even that much more, and these are adjustable. And they're every 40 feet, so they won't be like many of them.
Yeah, okay.
No, I talked to light manufacturers and also other storage facilities to try to find out, because I wanted to make sure I felt good about what we were building. So everybody light might be an issue.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Do you think lights is gonna mess up our fireworks displays out there? It's You move to Ludwig, you'll know what I'm talking
I
about.
agree with that.
It's not just 4th of July either.
It's all the time.
As a matter of fact, it was about 3 nights ago, because I got a dog in the front porch that wants to go grab me.
Okay, I grew up before that.
So Mr. Burton, Michelle raises a good question, concern about her. She bought property out there 6 years ago. She lived in those nice woods behind her, and she's happy with it. I don't know how you address her concerns unless there was a significant buffer left in
Well,
here.
it is actually, I can increase it if you like, but it's, right now it's 40 and it is higher. So we actually do our site,
40 feet higher?
well, 40 feet.
Well,
It
with
is
the line.
with the line.
Okay.
And actually the guys, the side, you actually have like an easement road between, I think hers and ours. I'm not sure how far it is, 10 feet or so. But it's actually higher, like she said. But we do our site, we're actually gonna bring it down. So that 40 feet, then we'll start going down, bringing the grade down closer to the highway. So, I mean, that'll actually give it even more distance. Because the storage facility is only like 9 feet tall, they're not like huge. So, then the lights will be, on the, every 40 feet down to there, so there probably won't be, what, 4 of them. So, I don't know if you'd even see them, to be honest with you, once we bring our grade down. Because her house, I think, is a little further down. Like it's up here, and hers is over here, and then this will be over here.
I can see your house as low as it is, and I can see the retirement facility. And especially in the wintertime, it is a straight shot.
It's my house, they're sitting there, not saying this.
I don't have a house.
Oh, your house.
I'm right next,
Oh,
I'm the one that's got the fruit stand.
Yeah.
They had the fruit stand there one time. Not, and I know Roy's talking about the traffic is bad and this, that, and the other stuff, but one of the biggest questions is 9 times out of 10 these accidents that we've had there are DUI related or somebody going faster than 45 miles an hour.
Nobody obeys the speed limit.
Right, exactly. I've run the fruit stand for 20 years and I've seen 3 wrecks while I was there on the weekends watching it. One of them was a guy showing out, come out the road and flipped his truck 3 times and about one in that store building across the road. And then I seen a couple people turning left to go to the nursing home and they got hit in the rear end, because people behind them wasn't paying attention. But the only thing he come to me first and asked me about it. And the only thing I said, like my wife, she sort of wants a buffer just like she does. Sort of, she don't want to be just looking out the door seeing everybody. But, he plans on planting spruce pines that grow up, 30, 40 foot high. So like I say, I'm gonna be right beside it and I ain't probably gonna see the building because of the pines. It's gonna be down the side of the, inside of the fence or outside the fence, wherever you want to plug that.
Gotcha. All right, thank you. Further questions from the board for Mr. Burton?
I need to ask Wes one.
Yes,
About 10 years ago, the come up was gonna have a light ordinance, and the state was gonna come up with one, and so we decided to wait till they did. Have they ever come up with an ordinance?
No, I think they did some high stuff as far as on the cell towers and things, that they don't go up, but they haven't, as far as I know. We would love to have some light ordinance that we can at least have some ability to have some control of our hours and things like that.
Well, I was got put in charge of that, but I'm kind of glad the state come in. I agree, there's some places that light blinds you going down the road, or up the road. And we really need an ordinance for it, but that hasn't got anything to do with this.
And the LEDs have just made them brighter. Further questions? Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that RZ-190477 be approved for recommendation.
We have a motion to accept the recommendation of the planning commission to allow this to move forward to the commissioners. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries. All right. Thank you. Board comments, I appreciate everybody coming, although most of them have left. We had a good, thoughtful discussion, and that's important. Are there any public comments?
I think the
Yeah,
only
how
comment,
can you appeal?
Pardon?
How can you appeal the decision?
Well, we just make a recommendation to the commissioners, and they decide either yay or nay. So this is not the final discussion on this.
And when is that decision made?
It'll be on the commission's docket
On May 8th.
May 8th.
Today's May.
They don't take
Today's
May.
May.
Yeah.
No, that's today.
Yeah.
All right, tell me when it is.
I think it's June 20th, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay,
So,
sorry. Oh, it should be on the,
No. Yeah, it should be on the notice.
so this, you don't have an opportunity to speak, Michelle, at that meeting?
It's Kim.
Kim, I'm sorry. Got people mixed up here. You don't have the opportunity to speak at that meeting because this establishes the record that the commissioners will
I'll get an attorney.
consider. All
I'm
right.
sure you wouldn't want it if it was your house, 150 feet from your front door.
We understand your concern.
Obviously you don't.
just to clarify, the DOT only has 60 feet right of way for the whole highway at that point. I would anticipate that probably in our lifetime, they're gonna come through there and have to widen that road. Because that's part of the problem, is you're traveling east, you can't see where this driveway is gonna be because all that other land is grown up and higher than the road, which is what causes the majority of wrecks.
And when someone's killed, it's gonna be your decision.
Hopefully that won't happen.
Well, it's already happened, and there's not even a large vehicles pulling out of the road there. There was I've been told there was a death there that occurred there.
I have pictures of it.
Yeah. You don't want to, you don't need to
Mile
show
back.
those.
So you're approving access of big vehicles pulling onto a road where a death has already occurred.
I understand.
What commission would do that?
We've heard the evidence and the board has made a decision.
What county would do that? Besides one that is been persuaded behind the scenes.
There's nobody that's been persuaded behind the scenes.
I
I'm sorry.
I
I
disagree.
can assure you that is not true.
That's not true.
All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We stand adjourned. Thank you.